Good evening, and welcome to one of my last few streams for the month because I've got a bit more running around to do the next week and a half. But I figured today let's go ahead and wrap the LEGO Architecture Cities tour with our final city. We started in Europe with the first two European cities, and today we're going to finish in Europe with the final city, which is Paris. Um, I wanted to save this one for last because of the 13 models, it's one of the more iconic in terms of cities with well-known landmarks. So let's go ahead and switch over to the book. So this is what the model will look like when we finish it. This is the 13th and final city on my tour of the LEGO Architecture Cities. And then we'll probably have other LEGO subsets in the future, but I don't know what's coming next. I'll probably just do random LEGO sets like I do sometimes. But maybe we might look at doing another series. Maybe we'll look at doing some of the other architecture sets. Um, so here we go. Here's a panoramic. Paris is, of course, famous for the Eiffel Tower. And there's a similar tower that was inspired by Eiffel Tower, a red and white tower in Tokyo. But this is the original. At the time it was built, Eiffel Tower was the tallest structure. It's not even close anymore. There's a lot of history and beauty in the city. So in this model, we will be looking at the Arc de Triomphe. I think this is the only one of the city models to incorporate a Roman-style arch. We'll be building Champs-Élysées. My brother actually went to Paris on a high school trip, but they did it after I graduated, so I wasn't eligible to go, unfortunately. So we have Arc de Triomphe, Champs-Élysées, the Tower Montparnasse. Let's see. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks minimalist. It shouldn't take us long to build that tower. The design looks pretty simple compared to some of the other towers we've done in the series. We have the Grand Palais, and of course the Eiffel Tower. Oh, and the Louvre as well. The Louvre is iconic to Paris as well. So it looks like we have a two-bag setup. Looks like there's only going to be about 100 pages of instructions. So we'll just save at the bags like I usually do. Alright, so let's switch back over to the studio. So let's switch back. And let's go ahead and get started. Of course, I start by dragging pieces out into the world. And we're going to start, of course, with the distinctive classy architecture black base frame. I'm still not over the whole Star Cruiser thing. Hopefully a solution will present itself for getting me some kind of immersive Star Wars vacation in a couple of years. That's not relevant to tonight, so let's proceed. Let's put these pieces on. The piece count on this isn't very big, so I may do, what's it called? I don't have another Lego set set up as a backup in case this runs short, but we'll see what time I finish. If I want to extend stream, maybe we'll go over to Board Game Arena again. Alright, so there we go. There's a nice big long base. And now we're going to start filling in some depth. It's interesting how they have this base plate starting off. So much going to hell this summer. One of my accounts was actually hacked today. Got resolved already. Thankfully, it was an easy resolution, but still, just every time I think I got a break from bad news, something else comes along. Today's could have been disastrous, but I took care of it right away and it's already resolved, so. Nothing serious. Could have been, though. Alright. We're not going to talk much more about that. Alright. We got to go underneath to start filling in some more contours here. Alright, so yeah, after tonight I'll be away till probably Saturday. I'm definitely going to stream on Saturday. Shayna might be coming home with me, in which case there's a chance you might get to see her again, maybe, maybe not. And then I leave again on Monday, and then I'll be back on Saturday the 1st. I was planning to do this Paris stream on Saturday the 1st, but I didn't really have anything prepped for tonight and knew I wanted to stream tonight, so I figured might as well get it done. I have momentum on the series. So I also want to do some more Lego Star Wars on the channel. I know I haven't done a lot of that on the channel. I've done a lot of that in the studio offline, though. I really enjoy Lego Star Wars. We need this piece. And then we need... Something's not in here right. I'm missing something still. There. So yeah, I don't really have too much to talk about tonight. The injured family member is getting better. He actually came for a ride to visit me for a few minutes earlier this evening. Apparently he's going to get a vacation next month. Injuries and all. And I'll be stuck here with no vacation this year. Nothing I can do about that. So we're still working on this base here. So we're still... And hopefully I'll be able to have vacation again next year. I had another Lego set that I had set up for today, But because I got a late start, I decided on this one instead because it's a smaller set overall. I estimate that the other build I'd picked out for today could have been a 3.5-hour build. So we'll do that on stream in the future, but I felt it was going to be too much for tonight. So we're here in Paris to conclude our city's tour. I think it's interesting that we started in Europe and then finished in Europe. Okay, this is important. Hold on, I just got an important text. Hold on. Okay, yeah, actually it's not important to me, so it's about an event that I'm not going to in a Facebook group that I'm in, so it's not relevant to me, so let's proceed. We've got about 90 pages left of instructions. One of the reasons I mention the page count on the instructions sometimes is so I can give you a rough feel of how we're going, because I don't actually show you the instructions once we're building. So, I think I've shown instructions on stream once, and that's because there was something highly unusual going on about them or something. So, let's work on the front edge of this base plate. Paris has a really weirdly shaped base plate compared with some of the other cities. You know what? We are going to go by structure and section rather than by bag, just because this city... Alright, so now we start with the famous ground tiling. Alright, that goes there. This one goes here. Alright, that goes there. And then we need to get some tiles. And then we need a couple of these. I so want to be able to do a stream using my Star Wars character. Problem is, there's not really any online experiences that are adequate for use of that character. So, you're just going to have to wait a while to meet him. Alright, we're going to keep... Alright. Here's where things start to happen with this base. Alright, so plate. We need this guy. And he needs to go here. Or I should say, it needs to go here. I'm not one of those weird guys who personifies Lego pieces, but I do with musical instruments. But I do have boundaries. Speaking of which, found out I might have to temporarily move my piano. Gotta find someone who can house my piano for me temporarily. That's going to be a trip. Okay, it looks like Paris, they're only putting in a little tiny bit of the water, unlike other cities where there was a whole waterfront. But Paris has a nice river passing through it, so that's a little bit of a letdown, but I think the model will be nice when we finish anyway. Paris is on my list of foreign cities I want to see. Someday, eventually. If my health ever gets better. I think we are just going to go with bags. It'll be more efficient, I think, in terms of our save points. May not even merge this one if there's not a terribly huge number of pieces. Okay. Go back to tiles. Alright, that's up. And then we come here. And we need modified plates. Yeah. If I ever get my budget situation resolved, and I'm able to start an actual Lego collection, I'm going to start with the actual physical models of the City series that I've been doing. In building these, I've learned that I really like this series, and they're beautiful. And I wish they had done more cities with it before they had wrapped the series. So many cities would look good in this treatment. And it's time for the famous architecture series nameplate tile right on the front of the model. While I'm in tiles, let's grab this one. And then let's go. There's a modified tile I need to grab. And then some plates. Yeah. There will definitely be a lot more Lego on this channel. But some builds are just too big or too silly to be done on stream. Yeah, seeing as it looks like we're about to start the first structure right on the base, let's not worry about trying to merge individual structures and just go with the 2 bags. Let's get this. It says there's supposed to be, oh, there's only 3 of the round plates. I meant 2 in this step. And then we get some tiles going. And then we get some. Oh, I like how they use these plates to get these slightly off center for a more dimensional, geometrically accurate look. Interesting. So I'm assuming what we're building here is the Champs-Élysées Palace it was talking about. Oh, we can build this right onto it. And it looks like it does a little bit of an overhang thing. All right. That goes there. As of now, there's a lot of streamers I follow online, so we should have a nice choice of a musician to pick tonight. I did gaming last night just because they were playing Morrowind. And it's not often I can raid Morrowind, which you know is my favorite game, so. Alright, that goes on to the palace like that. They do appear, I found on a previous build, they do appear to have finally fixed the glitch where importing a palette does not include the inverted round plate, 2x2 round plate. That was a big problem for a while on some of the builds I did. All right. All right, so we're supposed to do this twice. And that's supposed to go on to these like this. Interesting. So we're basically building the sides of the palace right now. I do like the build techniques, that the non-standard build techniques that they use throughout the architecture series. We'll probably be doing some of the standalone one-offs now that we're done with the cities. But I've already done a bunch of them off stream, so there are limits on what I'm interested in doing. But besides the architecture series, they've been doing a lot of these display models. So there's plenty of content that we can do on stream. Okay, the palace shape is coming along. This one is a 4 times, so I'm going to build the 4 units and then move them in. And we need these. We're coming up on 200 pieces used so far. And I think I read somewhere this was like a, I'll tell you in a moment. Hold on. All right, so yeah, this is one of the bigger city series in terms of actual piece count, but we're moving through it pretty efficiently. We're only about a half hour into stream, and I've only got about 60 or 70 pages left in instructions here. So we're moving through pretty quickly. So yeah, this would be the Champs-Élysées Grand Palace it was talking about. We need some tiles on those guys. There I go again. All right. That's coming along. All right. Let's keep going. Let's do. All right. And then another round of these. It's interesting how they're using the telescopes as columns. I mean, it's the perfect shape for it, so why not? I like the look. All right, there's a 2x going on right here. So let's go ahead and build them off and then drag them on. All right, that looks good. That palace is looking good. All right. What do I got going on here? So it looks like now we're working on the Champs-Élysées itself, because it looks like we're building some nice little old style buildings here. All right, I need to figure out what this piece is going on here. There's a piece here that I cannot identify. I think it's this one. Oh, and look. We get some more of these side printed plates that we've seen in the past couple cities. All right, that's in, and I need... And then we build another pair of buildings. Or I should say another pair of structures. I'm not sure if this is all meant to be one building or if it's meant to represent several buildings. I'm not that familiar with Paris and the Champs-Élysées. Okay, so Champs-Élysées is involved in the Tour de France. That's interesting. Okay, and now it has us make a round of trees. Let's do this. Okay, so that's the reason for these, that's the reason for these non-standard plates here. Let's pull these trees together. And last tree. So the Champs-Élysées has its trees, it has its palace, some nice buildings on the side. And next page of the instructions, it looks like we're going in the Tower Montparnasse. It does have us doing this one as a sub-build, as opposed to directly on the model, unlike the palace. I hope I angled that correctly. The instructions aren't very clear on that step. Yeah, according to the picture, what we're doing now isn't even going to be visible once we finish the tower. So it's another it's another instance of them putting in random colors in places where they're not going to be visible in order to increase the color count represented in the set. It's kind of clever and interesting how they do that. Doesn't really mean anything. But I guess it's so that they can say that each set has a certain requisite number of colors, even on sets that by design need to be monocolor. So it's kind of interesting that they do that. Okay. I did this piece incorrectly. There we go. All right. Let's keep going. So this is going to be a tall tower. So it looks like we finally get to do something a little bit different here on this level once we get these in. We're about halfway done with the model according to the instruction page count. And then we put this tile on top. All right, let's put in some slopes. All right, so we're starting to give the tower its look. All right. Give me a moment, I just got a text. This one is important, so give me a moment to respond to this text. Shoot. All right, let's come back here. All right, this comes down here like this. Okay, so that's what those clips behind the Champs-Élysées are for. They're for this tower. We've seen towers attached by base clips before. This is nothing new to us in the series. I think it's cool that I think it's kind of interesting that they do that rather than just stick them on. But thinking about it, it might be a structural integrity thing depending on the design of the tower. So good on them for non-standard attachment techniques. Okay, so this one we actually have to do this. This one gets an extra layer. Come on, grab. And now that it says to do it 2 times. So let's do this. So it looks like we're now working on the front and back of the tower. We've used about half of the pieces in the set so far, and we're about halfway through the instructions. Okay. That appears to be lined up correctly on that side. So let's come around and grab this side of the tower. Interesting. And then we do another 2x right here. All right, looks like our tower is ready to be put on. Wow. Apparently the actual tower, Montparnasse, has over 7,000 windows. Let's go ahead and stick it on. Let's just take a look at the underside. We appear to be clipped in correctly. It really doesn't matter. All right, the tower's done. So that's where we switch to bag 2, so let's go ahead and save where we are. We're about a little past halfway through the instruction book. And about half of the pieces of the set have been used. We're at about the 3/4 of an hour mark now, so I'm guessing this will be an hour and a half build by the time we finish. So it looks like we're going on the Eiffel Tower next, starting with the beginnings of some structural supports here. Okay, so we're back to light gray for these. And then we put these on. And then we start putting these supports onto the base. Okay, that explains the unusual shape of the base. Because it's designed to be, it's designed so that the tower is going to go over it and hide those gaps. Interesting design choice there, rather than filling in the base, but it's cool. Alright, so that round of supports is in. Maybe we're not going right onto the tower. Maybe we were just putting the supports in so that we don't lose our place. Yeah, because this is definitely the beginnings of something else here. If I remember the original picture, this may actually be the Louvre that's being built up over here. An iconic art museum facade and home of Da Vinci's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa. Unless I'm misremembering things, but I don't think I am. And here we are. The handful of actual, regular, standard bricks this model. They hardly get used in architecture, standard, non-special bricks. Okay, so apparently I'm supposed to use the transparencies for this section. Have I mentioned how much I don't like working with transparent pieces because they're hard to see in the editor? They do render nicely, though. Okay. I put something in incorrectly earlier then, because that's supposed to be a transparent tile, and I only had one in the toolbox, which means I used an incorrect piece earlier. Can I puzzle it out? Okay. Give me a moment. I'm trying to figure out where I messed things up. We're looking for a tile 1x2 in the darkish color. Okay. Oh yeah, so the reason they put in the Eiffel Tower base pieces and then switch to the Louvre is because otherwise they'll be hidden, the support areas will be hidden behind the Louvre, and we won't be able to see them in the instructions properly. That makes perfect sense. We've seen it 1 or 2 times before, where they started setting up the base of something and then switched to something else before coming back. So I'll tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to take this piece, and we're just going to add another copy to the palette. So now this whole thing turns sideways, and we get a brick. And how does this go on? Okay, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe I assume too much. All right. So it looks like this one, this side just gets the brick. Well, in that case, let's delete the piece that I added by accident. And then let's keep going. With these pre-counted palettes, any unused piece is clutter, so we try and move past them. And here it has us doing it 2 times. So that goes there, that goes here, and then we need some of these pieces. And then these structures look like they go on the front of the Louvre, like this. And now we're just building what appears in the instructions to be a domed roof section. And there we go. That goes on top. You know, for only having 100 pages, this set really is packing in a lot of detail. I may pick a couple cities to do my own architecture city style mocks. Baltimore would be nice. There's a couple iconic buildings in Baltimore. DC I'm partial to, but there's so many iconic buildings in DC it'll be hard to choose. All right. So now it looks like we're building the iconic pyramid that sits in front of the Louvre. And I remember reading somewhere there's actually an inverted pyramid underground underneath the main pyramid. I don't know how true it is, but I've read that somewhere. I've never been there, so I can't vouch for the authenticity. And it looks like we get to do a couple more trees here. There's some nice trees in Paris going on. Okay, and now we get to build over here. It looks like what we're doing over here is going to be the base tiling for the Arc de Triomphe. Probably one of the most famous of the many Roman arches around Europe. Base tiling is done. That's not the color. Okay, why do we have a transparent tile in the middle? I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. And of course, we use miniature arch pieces in the construction of the big arch. That's cool. Archception, I guess, is what you would call it. We are starting to run low on pieces now, which is a good thing. It means the model's coming to a conclusion. After we finish the arc, I think we just have the Eiffel Tower left to build. That's interesting. Give me a moment. I want to fact check this that the book says. That's cool. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, apparently a World War I fighter pilot flew his plane under the arch as a symbol of victory after the war. Okay. Paris is coming along. There's just one thing left. Let's go ahead and do a quick save. And now, let's work on what is probably the most iconic site in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. All right. Athens might be another fun city to make as a, in addition to Baltimore and DC, Philly would make a great architecture set. Athens, I'm surprised they didn't do Rome. I mean, Rome's got the Colosseum. LA is probably not a bad city to do. Oh shoot, it has us doing a non-standard placement. All right, let's reconstitute that and see what we can do here. Shoot. How are we going to do this? I think we're going to leave these off and then drag them on once they have something to hook into. All right, let's get the next step going and then see if we can effectively hook these in. That's not right. We're going to hide these two bits. We're going to go to the underside. Let's try this. Okay, that's not the connection point I was looking for. Let's see. Bingo. We got there. Now let's repeat on the other corners. Okay, looks like the picture. Let's get these other two corners settled, and then we'll come back to the model and continue. All right, we got there. Let's come back to the front now, and let's keep working at this. We've got about 20 pages of instructions to build this tower. Oof, there's 40 of these little tiles in the tower. This is going to be a little tedious. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to extend stream with extras tonight. It's already 1:45. It'll be close to an hour and a half by the time I finish the build, so I think that's fine. Give me one moment. My phone is giving me a notification. Let's see. Okay then. Alright, things are going well. That was important, but not interrupting stream important. I'll take care of it after stream. It's time for the iconic legs. And unfortunately, the printed arch pieces were missing from the database. So I just got plain ones. But that's okay because it's the bottom of the tower, so it'll be hiding behind other structures anyway. Alright, let's get these plates hooked in. And then I get some more of the these pieces. And then let's angle these pieces into position. Okay, notch. Alright, let's get these guys into position. Alright, so we have the bottom part of the tower going. The Eiffel Tower. And now we have to do another thing with rotating clips. So let's get these on and then we'll line them up. All right, that worked out nicely. But do I have, I think I might have that. Shoot. I've got 3 of these guys pointing the wrong way. 2 of these guys pointing the wrong way. Glad I checked that before it became an issue. All right. So now we're working on another section. Three by 3 plates. They're kind of rare. I don't think I've ever used one in person. If I have, it's pretty rare. And I have a long history with Legos. Even actual physical Legos. I used to have a huge collection before I had to sell out. These will also have to be rotated in a minute. But let's get these on first. All right, there we go. That's set up. Now we're going to build upside down for a moment. My phone keeps buzzing. I checked it a couple minutes ago, so we'll let that one go for a bit. All right, that goes nicely. We get some more of these. Okay. And we get to do this thing with the clip pieces again. I think I'm going to wait till I attach it before I push these down, though, unless there's a pressing reason to get them lined up first. Just to make sure everything's lined up correctly, I may wait. Okay. All right, we're getting towards the conclusion of this here, but we need to put in, and these get to be rotated again as well, so. I wonder which streamers are left, because when I started, there were a lot of people on tonight. But I don't know who's still there, because it's just about midnight, so. Well, it's midnight my time, so. We still got some choices for a raid for afterwards. Let's take this whole thing. Okay, then. We have to angle these pieces, because the only connection is those clips. And that looks like it's not the same angle. All right, let's try rotating these down then. I'm going to try 75 degrees here for this connection, because this is not the same as the 60-degree angles we saw on the first section. If I didn't angle this correctly, we'll pick another angle and guess again. Yeah, it does not line up correctly. So instead, we're going to unfold those. So that's straight up and down. So let's try the 70-degree angle instead. Let's see if that connects. All right, the question is, does this connect at 70 degrees? Yes, but it doesn't line up quite correctly. Shoot, what's going on here? So what if I bring this in? What if I make it a 69-degree angle? That still looks flush. You know what? It likes my 70-degree angle, so let's see how badly off we are when we make them all at that adjustment. There's always one section in every build that requires precise angles and guesswork, and that always takes a bit of extra time. That appears to line up correctly, but 3 of the bits aren't exactly clipped in perfectly. You know what? We're not going to worry about it. We'll turn off collision for the render. It's close enough to be good, so. Although you can kind of tell how off it is on that one. Tell you what we're going to do. That needs to come down another angle. So we're actually going to break these 3 clips for a moment. And then it's almost perfect. We're just going to keep it as is. And now we got a bunch of these pieces that are we're We're going to make a bunch of these sections now. It's a lot of repetitive going on this tower, but that's okay. There's a lot of architecture structures tend to require some repetitive sections. Oh, shit. Okay, that one did not line up correctly. Don't know why my phone keeps going off. It's like midnight here. There's no reason for me to be getting this much activity on the phone at this time. I don't usually, so I'll check it after stream. It's probably notifications that aren't important, so. Alright, so now I gotta get this piece. And then there's this bar that sticks through it. Alright, there goes that piece. Alright, these are not lined up correctly, so there. Now we got rid of that gap. But that gap is still there. Alright, we're good enough to continue. right. So that's a 70. So I'm guessing these are going to be at like a 65. Let me try angling these in 1 and see what happens. Well, I say 1, I mean 5 degrees, but you know what I meant. That does not line up properly. So we're not folded in enough is what we're learning here. Let's try this angle. Now let's try moving this tower in again. And it appears to have clipped on correctly. Okay, we're doing well. And now this whole unit. It makes up almost a quarter of all the pieces in the entire set. Needs to come over here. And actually, we have to rotate it. And we see which side is the blind side and put that one in the back in case I'm careless and forget to turn on collision when it's turn off collision when it's time to render. But I won't be careless. We all say that. And we take the whole tower and we drag it on here. And let's just take a look. And okay, so we've got some collision indicators going on here. You know what? So, in other words, the bottom angle needs to be a little bit more open. It was only off slightly. Let's try doing this. Last model, so we have about 10 pages left of instructions still, but it looks like only a handful of parts left in the toolbox. So, or the palette, as it's called in the program. So we're getting close to the end here. Let's try this again. Okay, we're still not lined up quite precisely, but we're closer. Let's drag it out here and give these angles another degree. let's take the tower and try putting it on again. And now we're actually ever so slightly off still, but we're close enough, and the back section isn't really going to be visible in the renderer, so I think that's good enough to fly. And now we're going to work on the top section of the tower. Now let's move this closer so the rotation doesn't behave as wacky. As you can see, the palette is almost gone. Oh, and look what they did here. Look at this. We get this piece goes on here like this. And we have a little brick-built or tangly plate-built French flag. That's clever. I like that. That's nice. They didn't do that on any of the other models. Interesting. Apparently the tower, I never do this, but apparently the tower was built for a major festival in Paris and was only intended to be temporarily up for 20 years, but it became so iconic to the city and useful as a radio tower, so they allowed it to stand. I never knew that before. So we're going to take this very top section of the tower, and we're going to come here and drop it into place. We'll turn off collision while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's a beautiful tower. And with that, we have completed Paris and our architecture tour. And it looks like at some point my stream crashed. Am I still going? Yeah, so it ended up taking us 1 3/4 hours. I thought we could make it an hour and a half, but the tower required too many precise angles. So yeah, we went a bit over what I was intending. So it's just past midnight here. Let's get a pose going. So yeah, we have the Arc de Triomphe, the Tower Montparnasse, Champs-Élysées with the Grand Palace, and then over here the Louvre. So let's go ahead and save. Probably the reason they did a plate-built flag for Paris and not for the other cities is because the French flag is so simple compared with the flags of the other countries represented. But here we are. We've saved. Here's a final shot for you to enjoy while I figure out a raid. A lot of people are still on. Ooh, Taryn is still on. But she had started before. And of course, I'm being forced to. 3 hours, yeah. Taryn almost never goes past 3 hours. Someone's saying thanks for the stream. Looks like she's getting ready to quit. Who else do we have today? John Lee. I rate him a lot. We rated Ash yesterday. She's not doing Morrowind today. We'll go ahead and rate McDoodle. She's only been going 2 hours. Yeah, that's what I'll do. All right. Let's raid McDoodle. And everyone have a good night. And I will see you hopefully over the weekend. Because I'm only going to have time for like maybe 1 or 2 streams over the weekend. And then Monday. And then I'm gone for a few days again. I'm gone for the rest of this week. Back for the weekend. And then after Monday I'm gone for a few days. July I'll be more regular. Things are going to settle a little bit, so I'll be more regular. Have a good night. Settle a little.
I made it in, and okay, would it help if it was just white instead? I don't know if that would help. Let's see. Oh yeah, that actually looks way better. I was gonna make it white at first, but then the problem was that it was daytime, so during the day it was hard to read the white, because my window was bright white. So anyways, Uncle Evie, yo, thanks for the raid. What it do? Welcome in. Hello, dude. How was your